They can take our tents, but they can never take our occupation. Welcome to David. Due to recent events, we recommend having a very informal style of GA tonight, if everyone agrees. Let's go ahead and cover the gestures. If you like what's being said, it gives you a warm feeling or you're in favor of it, sparkle fingers up. If you're kind of on the fence or want to stand aside on the issue, right there in the middle. If you dislike what's being said, fingers down. If you dislike what's being said so much that you feel it violates you morally or violates the values that the group has agreed upon and you may leave the movement based on the proposal passing, throw up the block. If you cannot hear what's being said, up, up, up. If the speaker is repeating themselves or just going on much too long, wrap it up, wrap it up, wrap it up. If you would like to add a POI or point of information to the discussion, one finger right here. If you do not understand what the hell the speaker is talking about, throw up the Mayday. If we call on you for a Mayday, we'll open it up for 2 minutes of question and answer. If we still can't resolve the issue, we'll open it for a further 2 minutes of question and answer. And if we still can't figure it out, you'll be directed to talk to that person after General Assembly. Did I miss anything? Oh. And if what's happening violates the process, as you understand it, throw up the triangle or point of process. So we're going to go ahead and go into the, new thing that we decided to do is talk for just a minute about consensus and the spirit of General Assembly. Remember that at times when we're making decisions or having discussions, the point is not for someone to win. The point is for everyone that has a valid point to make on topic to be able to put their idea in, combine their ideas with everybody else's, and try to generate a better idea than anyone can ever do individually through collective thinking. Everybody feel good about that? Okay, we're going to go on to announcements. Our first announcement today should be pretty freaking obvious. It's going to be a recap of this morning's events. After we recap, if everyone agrees, because this is slightly out of procedure, we'll let anybody that wants to talk about it come up and give their testimonial. Does everybody agree to that? Please, God in heaven, try to keep your testimonial to 2 minutes or less. If anyone is currently unaware of this morning's events, what happened was after a seemingly warm and positive meeting with the city yesterday, in which we were vaguely led to believe that our permits were to be renewed, around 6 or 6:30 this morning, the police came into our camp, started waking up all the occupiers and letting them know they had until 9 o'clock to get all of their first. 6 valiant campers, including myself, were arrested and charged with obstruction of justice. Kind of felt like that should be obstruction of injustice.
Yeah!
The arrests and the following spankings were brief. They took 3 of us and put us in cop cars, took the other 3 and walked them down the street, took our information, gave us a ticket for obstruction of justice, gave us a court date, I believe, of all December the 6th.
Yeah, we're the 6th, they're the 15th.
Okay, December 6th for the people thrown in cars, December 15th for the people not. Dave Potvin, as well as the other legal personnel that he's reached out to, are planning our defense or something like that. So, people that know things about legal things, thanks for working on that with us. Okay, does anybody want to give a recap or a personal testimonial about this morning's events? Hi, I'm Dave. I'm part of the legal team. I am not a lawyer. I do not give legal advice. I give legal information. We do have lawyers. I'm called. There may be one here soon. We have lawyers ready to do defense for our arrestees. We have lawyers who are considering doing offense. We may be filing suit against the city. Okay. If there are more arrests, here are some phrases to memorize and repeat to the police. I invoke my right to counsel. Can I hear everyone say that? I invoke
my right to counsel. invoke my right to remain silent.
I do not consent to a search.
Oh, I do not consent to a search.
I do not consent to a search.
But if you're booked, you get searched. Also, do not complain about being not read your Miranda rights. The only time they have to review your Miranda rights is if they're going to interrogate you. They will not be interrogating arrestees here under any reasonable cover of law. When they tried to take the park this morning, I asked them, what is your legal authority? Where's the paperwork? They had none. I said, whose authority is this under? At first they said, this is a special emergency police shutdown of the park. I said, under whose authority? What ordinance? Where's the paperwork? They balked at answering that. They finally said, the city manager. I said, where's the paperwork from the city manager's office? They had none. I said, how do we know this is a lawful order? This could be an unlawful order. We need either paperwork from the city manager's office or someone from the city's manager's office here. That was not provided. That was not provided. I told them that we do not have confirmation this is a lawful closing of the park, that we may consider confiscation of our materials theft. We'll see how the legal aspects work out on that issue and other issues. People were charged with obstructing justice, which is a ridiculous overcharge.
Back
they
up.
did not obstruct justice. Obstructing justice would have been an applicable charge if we had stood there trying to block the police from entering the park.
Hey,
they should have been charged with trespass.
Okay, I'm just getting some shots, alright?
Yeah. Get him over there, please.
They are probably...
I don't have the right to be here, but you guys do.
No, you do, but please move back. You're blocking something. You're blocking our live stream.
Yeah, live stream. Internet.
Thank you. So we will be getting together with our lawyers to figure out where we go from here. I mean, the defense side of it is pretty straightforward. We're going to try to consolidate the court dates so everyone goes to court together. And as I said, we are going to explore our options about legal offense. I think that covers everything right now.
Good job.
Quick note to the press, none of us will be able to be reached for comment. None of us will be able to be reached for comment. Yes, I was one of the campers. I was one of the campers that was woken up to raps of their lights on my tent, and they were not polite about it. They told us to get out of their tents, and they kept trying to round us up into a group to inform us that we had 3 hours, and only 3 hours, to remove all of our belongings before they helped us remove our stuff. They actually came with about 10 to 15 uniformed officers for the 7 to 10 people sleeping there, as if we were going to wake up at 6 a.m. and start a riot. But they told us in a gently and polite way that that was that. That's the rules, and they didn't really stay there for questioning. They left. And then there was 2 officers that stayed and watched us, and I proceeded to walk around and talk to all the people walking into their jobs. Their Constitution and their Bill of Rights was getting stomped on as they walked by. It was invigorating at the same time frustrating. All of you should wake up at 6 a.m. from now on, just in case. Other than that, that was probably one of the most insulting things that I've ever seen happen to me personally and to people I know in this country. It makes me sad to call myself an American. And I then proceeded to inform everyone that there was a news flash that America is now a police state.
Anybody else want to stack? Alright, I will go then.
My name is Jeff. Me and James McPherson are the ones that kind of got the ball rolling on this whole thing. Over the course of the last month, I've been meeting at least once a week. If sometimes earlier in the month it was twice a week with different members of the police department, the city attorney, the council, or the Office of Cultural Affairs, and a bunch of other people. And I have to say that prior to this, our relationship with all of those members had been more than cordial. We had been very open with one another. Had not had any problems. I wasn't at the meeting yesterday, but from what I understand, it went really well. They did not really give any inkling that today was going to be the day that they came and announced this from the camp, but such was the case. Jeff was present at the meeting. Everything went, and like, whoa, fucking sparkly. Anyhow, today around 2:30, James and Dave and I went and stormed onto the city manager's office and met with Annette Odell and Laura Crouch? Ann Odell and Laura Croucher, something like Crouch, I don't know. Anyhow, we met with them and kind of tried to sort out why it happened today. We weren't given too clear of an answer other than the fact that, well, you know, the permit to camp wasn't going to be indefinite. Did you guys think it was going to be indefinite? You know, your permit expired at 9, why weren't you guys ready to move out? And every week prior to this, it's just been a very like, yeah, you guys are going to have your permit, just keep your stuff up, it's going to be fine. So we felt, James and I at least, I'm sure Dave as well, felt very sort of betrayed by the fact that, you know, we've been more than transparent, more than open with those people. And for them to come and, you know, just give 3 hours notice to say we have to have everything out, we have to take down a month's work in 3 hours was very inconsiderate, and they conceded that fact. Ann said that they should have given us a call. Particularly, like, they have James, Dave's numbers. A good 15 of them have our numbers directly. We could have been notified last night when the decision was made, so we could have had more time. But that note ended with them handing us our new permit. And yesterday at the meeting, they didn't really discuss the permit. And when I got it today, basically it said that this permit would supersede all previous permits, and that we are no longer allowed to meet in commercial place at all. We're supposed to be at Harbor Park having this General Assembly right now, and I, for one, am not going to Harbor Park. So,
hell no!
Yeah, they didn't tell us anything about the permit. I actually found out that the permit had been changed from the news this morning. I don't know if anybody else is in the same boat. Yeah, Wavy TV 10 had a heads up before we did. But we've been in contact with the city for a month. You know, and I've been from the get-go kind of stressing compliance because, you know, it started out that way. But looks like the tides are turning. You know, we're not getting that same sort of. They've broken my trust personally by not being as open as we were with them. So you know, we'll have to figure out where to proceed from here. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm done. I guess that's pretty much all I got. If anybody wants to see the new permit, you're more than welcome to. I'm also running Stack, so I will go ahead and respond to these. Joelle, after 5 p.m. when we were supposed to be out of the camp, we got her. We thought it would be great since there was media here if one person just went and sat down in the camp and, you know, got arrested. And Joelle was our martyr. So let's hear it for Joelle, everybody. Lady of the hour right there, guys. Okay, so anyhow, yeah, Carmen, so you.
Angela, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's fine. What you said about Harbor Park and Wavy is quite interesting because that word had actually gotten around before they'd even started clearing out the camp. And Darrell and I walked up to the police and said, hey, what's with this rumor that we're not just being kicked out, but actually we're being allowed to move over to Harbor Park? And they said, oh, we don't know anything about that. That's not true. I don't know where you heard that at.
It's all been very kind of convoluted. But the reason
I just wanted to let you know about that.
Harbor Park, we had discussed in our meetings the addition of us potentially needing extra space if this camp got too full. Harbor Park was going to be one of the areas they were looking at to give us an overflow camp. So that's why Harbor Park was already kind of in the mix. We had been discussing it. So
next on Stack. Well, I mean, points of information wise, did I hear the other fingers? Alright, so if no other points of information, alright, just next on Stack.
Hi, I'm Rob, if you don't know.
I wasn't actually here this morning. I was actually the one responsible for getting information online streamed out and try to get everything dispersed. So, first off, about 1,400 people watched this, whatever it was, go down. We were on Global Revolution for probably a good hour.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't say this, but 1,000 people witnessed a Norfolk police officer go into Avi's bag and pull out what appears to be a camera and walk away with it. So if anything comes of that, we've got 1,000 witnesses to an officer going. On top of that, we received messages of solidarity from Occupy London, Occupy Frankfurt, Occupy Oakland, Little Rock,
Occupy DC.
Big Rock. Yeah.
There was a point where our actual stream was going so fast that it was hard to keep up with because so many people were concerned. We've got offers of legal assistance from out-of-state and other occupations. We were at one point instructed to contact Occupy Wall Street's legal team, and they would jump in the fray. And pretty much at this point, online, everybody is watching what we do next. On top of that, the first number I put out was the mayor's office. People began to call the mayor's office, and apparently their staff told the callers that they didn't feel this was right either. I didn't hear anything back on calling the police chief. When people called the city manager's office, personnel in the city manager's office hung the phone up on people as they called in. Tim called him 50 times, probably why they don't answer anymore.
All right, Tim.
You tell me?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Pretty much from what I understand, we kind of overwhelmed the Norfolk phone system at City Hall. We had callers from all across the country banging in, so everybody's behind us.
Went viral.
I called all 3 numbers today. I left a message with the mayor's office. They said someone would get back to me. I talked to a sergeant major at the police chief's office and spoke to him for probably about 15 minutes about, this really isn't a good thing happening, and that it was being really mishandled, and he did the diplomatic non-committal thing, but didn't outright disagree with me. I didn't get a call back from the city manager's office until about 5 o'clock this evening, and spent about 20 to 30 minutes on the phone with their PR person, who could not give me a straight answer as to why our permit was not renewed, and also claimed to have photographs of trash stuffed under and behind the park benches. So if anybody would like to go and see these photos, go to the city manager's office and ask. Because I'm probably going to try and make a trip down tomorrow to see them for myself. We'll keep you updated.
Any other points of information on what Rob said? Alright, so then next on SAG we have Anita.
Hang on, and there, if you haven't seen them on the pilot, there's awesome pictures of like Rex and Anita and Jeffrey getting arrested. Yeah, actually Rex is in there.
Everybody, you guys should see it.
Carmen's in there in a couple pictures. There's my favorite picture is actually Rex, Carmen, and somebody else, arms locked, and Rex kind of looks like he's criticizing the cop's hair. So.
You got a great hair, dude.
It was a shitty haircut.
Okay. I wanted to say something. I thought this was pretty funny when I did it. Right in the middle of all of the fray, I called 911. She's asking me, and she's like, her trying to figure out what my problem is, and she's like so dumbfounded. And she finally just breaks out and says, "Well, should I send a sergeant there?" I said, "I think they're all here." And actually, the dispatcher called one of the sergeants, and he walked over to me and was like, "Are you Tim?"
So do you remember how it's Scott Ridgel had said that he wanted to meet with us? At all? Okay.
Yeah.
So when I left here, after getting arrested and getting my summons, I left and I walked down the Grammy Street, and there he was, just kind of standing there. I guess he's here for some conference or something. So I realized who he was, and I turned around and I'm like, hey, you should go see all those people getting arrested down there. He was like, what people? And I was like, you know, Occupy Norfolk. He's like, what are they getting arrested for? And I said, nothing. You should go help them, serve the people. And he's like, yeah, I guess I'll do that. So I guess we can say that at least one of us has now met Scott Ridgel on behalf of Occupy Norfolk, and he's a douche.
I know.
Anybody next on stack? Anybody have any announcements to make?
Welcome back, Dan Poppin. Some additional info. When I got a call first thing this morning, I made a call to the assistant city manager to try to negotiate an extension so that we could physically decide if we wanted to clear the park. We could clear the park. They knew 3 hours was impossible. I also talked to the acting city police chief saying, could you give us some slack? But the police were following orders. They didn't make this decision, and I believe the vast majority of them hated this decision, hated having to carry out these orders. And I believe a lot of them, the ones we know, weren't told till the last minute because the commanders thought they might tip us off.
The police are the 99% too.
They know that. They know that. They know they're part of the 99%. Also, a couple hours ago, Also, a couple hours ago, I spoke to a city council member who knew at some point yesterday afternoon or yesterday evening the decision had been made to clear the camp, but didn't know the details. When I gave her an eyewitness account of both what happened today and what's happened over the past several months, this city council member was not happy and is seeing the city manager tonight. I'll be talking to the city council member either later tonight or tomorrow to see what the city manager's reaction was to the city council member's discussion. I want to thank the city and the police for giving us, as Rex said, a great boost in our PR campaign. We also thank them for helping strengthen this movement and helping to unite this movement. Thank you, City of Norfolk. Thank you, City of Norfolk Police Department.
Thank you, police. Thank you, police.
I went down to get Joelle out. I was talking to this woman that came out who is one of the guards back there. And I told her, I said, do you know how long she's going to be? Because I got a GA meeting at 7 o'clock. And she goes, well, let me go see what I can do. And I was talking to her. And she said, you know, the officers that brought the people in this morning were actually upset that they had to do what they had to do. She said, because I know that we are part of the 99%. She said, I can tell you that. She says, and they know it. And I told her, I said, I understand that they are doing what the 1% up top is telling them they have to do. And they're doing their job the same as everybody here that goes to work every day and does their job. So I can't blame them. In fact, the officer that arrested her come walking by and I thanked him. And he looked at me like I was nuts. You thank me for locking your wife up? Well, thank you.
Let's hear it again for Joelle. Man. Anybody else care to get on stack before we move on? Come on down. Hey, no, it's not on now. We spoke to, in my meeting today, I spoke directly with, and it came directly from the city manager. The city manager is the sole person responsible for making sure we were shut down today. We met with I believe she's the assistant to the...
Where's Dave?
Dave, Dan Odell is the assistant to the city manager? Assistant city manager, and told us that it came directly from the city manager. With a lot of reluctance, she told us that.
Do you have a phone number for the city manager?
I don't personally, but I'm sure that is readily obtainable.
Can we put those numbers on the website?
Yeah, they're on the website. If you go to the website, the most recent post is like a spiel I had, and then the bottom is the number to the city mayor's office, city manager's office, and an official complaint line. Hit all three of them. Make sure you get heard.
And we'll also throw the emails up there because they have email addresses.
I'll do that as soon as I get
Oh, more mass mailings.
Okay, another front row perspective. I think it's very key that they were told this morning that they had 3 hours to pack up the camp.
Talk louder.
That we had 3 hours to pack up the camp, but was only given 1 minute's notice that the park was actually going to be closed. 1 minute. Officer Driscoll, I think, was speaking with Dave and Tim, and said that they would assist us in 1 minute with getting the rest of the stuff out of the camp, and then they announced the park closed the very next minute. This is both on news footage and on my own personal video. And then just to elaborate on the wavy Lori Crouch thing, I seem to think that she's very recognizable as a old wavy news reporter.
Right.
So, point of interest.
Anybody else on stack?
Can I use, is it cool if I use the people's mic? Like, is everybody cool with that?
I am more than comfortable with him using people's mic. He is a visitor. Introduce yourself real quick.
Okay. Well, I'll use the people's mic. Hi, everybody!
Hi, everybody!
My name is Gecko.
My name is Gecko.
I'm originally from
Occupy
Wall Street.
Occupy Wall Street.
I came down from Occupy DC.
From Occupy DC.
I Googled you guys this afternoon and found out that you have gotten raided. So what I did was speak to the finance committee of Occupy DC. And they have told me that whatever you guys need and whatever we can spare we will send down.
Thank
We
you.
are here with you in solidarity, in action and movement, and we love you. Let's occupy this fucking park.
Just a point of solidarity, me and this guy, though we didn't know it at the time, both got arrested together on the Brooklyn Bridge. That's my boy. James is at work right now, but he wants me to encourage all of you to come tomorrow at noon, if you can make it, to plan some, direct action movements and some movements that we're going to be involved in. And then Saturday, huge day. Just be out here. Just be out here. Thank you.
Hey, just a quick question. Did they actually take our stuff in garbage trucks?
Her question, that's very pertinent. They, her question was whether or not they took our things in garbage trucks. All of our belongings were taken by Public Works to, what's the actual location called? Felipe has the address.
Me and Tim spent the past 3 hours, Tim and I spent the past 3 hours checking out our stuff at 1175 Lance Road. 1195 Lance Road, Virginia Beach. Our stuff was just thrown into a corner. Food was on top of blankets, broken glass all over the signs, all of our signs destroyed, tents, the holes for the tents were cut. I don't want to kill the mood because we're really vibing, but get with me later. It was just a complete disrespect, complete mess.
You can still go get your things though. It's free. Everything is still there. It's just maybe not in the best condition.
The place is open 24 hours a day. Our stuff will be available to us for 30 days. When they started taking our stuff, I asked to
be allowed into the park as a legal observer to observe the confiscation of our belongings, to make an inventory. Because I can go right now to that place and say, that's my tent, that's my guitar, that's my laptop. They don't know. They don't know. If you go there and your stuff isn't there, do check, because I understand when they give stuff to people, they do take the people's information. But there's no accounting for if anything's missing, because there was no inventory taken. I tried to enter the park to do that. I was told if I did, I would be arrested. As a legal observer, I decided that was not the best thing for me to do at that point. And I also want to say, I have vouched for the city. At the meeting the other night about our plans for the grand illumination, there were people who said, you cannot trust the city. I spoke up for the city. I said we could trust them. And I'm not going to apologize for saying that, because I do believe all the people we have met with did bargain with us in good faith, and that they were overruled by higher-ups, probably against their better judgment. I told them today that I was very upset because my credibility with you folks may be jeopardized, and I told them, you made me look like an asshole. I use that language. You made me look like an asshole. Breach has been broken. Trust has been breached. And it's not up to us to mend it. It's up to you to mend it if it can be mended.
Just real quick, if anybody, I have these two umbrellas. Does anybody want one? Anybody else? Umbrella? Thank you.
And I wanted to let you all know that we did recover from the towing recovery place. They are taking an inventory as stuff goes out, so if you go there and find that you're looking for something specific, they should have it on their roster as it was leaving, either within my truck, Tim, or this guy sleeping. Sorry. And all the pots, kitchen, food, perishable items are at the Park Place Baptist Church, secure in the refrigeration and storage there. So we'll bring it back out. Hopefully that Sunday to be, wherever that is to be, here hopefully. And Food Up Bombs is stepping up to make sure that there's adequate food for the masses on every Sunday for Occupy Norfolk. So we also want to encourage the cooperation and assistance with getting donations and food and distribution. So let's work together. You can find us on the Facebook or email, Food Up Bombs Norfolk. Thanks.
Thanks, Kira.
Billy Albany, Mark. I sent at least 2 video footages of the raid.
Speak up, speak up.
I just sent 2 videos of the Norfolk raid today to the Virginia Citizens Defense League to see what they would think.
Alright.
Awesome.
Alright. Anybody else on stack? Anybody on these announcements?
On this subject. Anybody on this subject? Okay, as promised, this will be a loose, organic, and informal kind of GA today. We're going to run into at least one really awesome work group check bag from community service. Come on down!
Hi guys, I'm Anna. Have some awesome news that I wish I could have gotten down here sooner to give. But on Tuesday, I took our food donations down to the food bank. Here's the receipt for 111 pounds of food that we as an occupation donated to the food bank of Southeastern Virginia. We are doing good in the community. Let's keep it up.
Alright, any other working groups that are present and want to make any announcements in regards to their working groups? Come on down.
Just kind of followed who's talking.
Actually, this connects onto what Anna just said. I don't know if many of you noticed, but we had a rather large surplus of bread here, and so we took it over to the Oasis shelter in Portsmouth, and they were super excited about it. And we also ran into a couple of people over there asking where did we come from with all this bread? And we started telling them about us and what we were doing, and they were super ultra maxi excited about it, and they loved it, and they were like, you need to bring more flyers out here because these are the people that you need to be talking to over here in Portsmouth. So that's it.
This is a kind of general work group check thing, not from a particular work group, but about all work groups. As of right now, to the best of our knowledge, everything on OccupyNorfolk.com website calendar is still a go. So any events or work group meetings or anything like that that's supposed to happen or on the calendar are still a go. Still a go. Okay, go check back.
Hi, buddy. I'm Felipe again. Part of the direct action team. May I propose an initiative real quick? Since we don't have that many things going on with the camp, I suggest that everybody becomes active in the direct action team. Everybody. I mean, we don't have a lot of duties now with the camp. Get with the direct action team. Get with me and put in some direct action. Also, tech team. If you are a techie, I could use you. I could use your help, your knowledge. Get with me. Gotta solve some live streaming issues. If you know something about live streaming, Wi-Fi, get with me.
Other working groups before we move on.
Okay, in light of recent events, I have taken it upon myself to form an emergency work group called the What the Heck Are We Going to Do Now work group. The floor is open for discussion.
I want to thank those of you who actually got arrested on my behalf today. Thank you very much. I'm going to build on a suggestion that I heard earlier. All of the phone numbers and emails have been posted on the website. If everybody here will make those phone calls and write those emails, further, get one other person to make those phone calls and write those emails, you will get the ear. But we need to not have this be one day and then fall off. I intend to be contacting my city councilman tomorrow. So that's something each one of us can do right now.
I got dozens of email addresses.
I'm Dave, I'm with Food Not Bombs, and yeah, what we're gonna do now, like Rigel might be a douchebag, whatever, but if he's offering to talk, use it. I mean, I don't, it's just a photo, probably a photo op for him, but if politicians love to talk. Yeah, they love to talk. So, I mean, if we could sit there and kind of catch him by the balls, sounds like fun.
I was about to say he has them.
Well, we can find out. And, I mean, we can invite Bobby Scott here, too, who's, I mean, he was representative for part of this area before redistricting. But, I mean, I'm very tempted myself to just moon Fox News for fun, but we gotta kind of grow up a little and talk to the pigs.
No.
Yeah, well.
Fuck Fox. They're the most uninformative.
No, not talk to Fox. I'm talking about Rigel. Call Rigel.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what I'm saying. No, not Fox. Sorry. Misunderstanding. Sorry. But reconsider talking to Congress. That's all I'm saying.
Next on stack.
Following up on contacting city council members, I believe we shall all be at the next city council meeting, won't we? Yes. When? We'll let you know quite soon. Second Tuesday of December, I'm told. Second Tuesday of December. Mark your calendar. We will be promoting that heavily.
All this talk is great about where we're going to go with the city. But I want to know what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Right now. Anybody got any ideas? Any read about that? Quitting was never an option, Mr.
You're adorable.
There are currently
a lot of occupations that do not have permits and still camp somewhere. So, if we can even get about half of these people to set up a tent somewhere, I think we can just take a park. Anybody got any ideas on that? How about we just take one?
Town Point.
Town Point doesn't.
There's a big park. There's Lafayette Park right up on Granby Street.
We got Lafayette Park on Granby Street?
Just a suggestion.
Gotta have solars to go.
Hey, guys, the stack is open for what the heck are we going to do now? If you want to put your 2 cents in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is that everybody? 10, 11. Well, please remember your numbers and take the Megacup phone in an orderly fashion.
I don't know what was my number.
Number 1, come on down.
Get on up, get on down.
Hello, I'm Carmen, and I think that Town Point Park is our best bet. I think it is still visible, and I think if we're doing anything, we should do it big.
Heard that? Number 2!
Okay, I'm just gonna speak to you.
Do it. Mic check.
Mic check! Yeah, I'm down for occupy whatever park as long as we do it tonight. I'm for it. Let's occupy something, like, I'm down. So down, let's do it.
Yeah!
Civil disobedience is my specialty.
I don't know. Number 3, get down here if you were number 3.
Just a real quick point of information, we have several tarps and about 6 tents on hand, so kind of let you know where we're at for the immediate future.
Please, Melvin, I think that if we're going to occupy another park and we're going to be arrested because we don't have a permit, let's occupy this one and be arrested. Where we started at.
Number 4.
Number 4.
Just go.
What?
Just go.
Number 4 stands in solidarity with number 3.
Number 5, please.
Hi, I'm Laura. I have 2 ideas. One is to find a patch of private property like they have up in New York so that we don't have to worry about the city kicking us out. And my second idea would be to rove the city and occupy one place one night and another place another night and another place another night and keep everybody guessing and confused. So that's it.
Who you gotta call?
Number 6. Number 7, get ready, please.
Since we already have our parade route going through Ghent, why not Stockley Gardens? They would probably be sympathetic to us in that neighborhood. Thank you.
No. Next.
I thought I was 6.
Okay, then you're 7 now.
My idea was similar to Laura's. If you go on the Occupy Together's website and and look at their how to occupy, it says if there's a movement near you, rather than start up one in your own city, join them because there is more strength in numbers. So I like the we have 7 cities here and we're not getting a lot of visitors from around the way. So why not occupy the 7 cities?
Number 8. Number 8. Followed by 9. Come closer. Be ready.
Yeah, well, I'm recording so I can't.
Hi, my name's John. I actually go to the University of Norfolk, ODU, whatever you're my idea, my guess, we have a lot of people here, but I have a lot more people that I know that are at my university, here in Norfolk State. I'm not sure how many student body, like how big it is, but my guess was maybe getting them more involved because I know a lot of my friends that are over there that I'm constantly talking you guys up all the time, but a lot of them, have not even heard that there is actually an occupation here in Norfolk. So I'd be willing to work with anyone. I don't know if you guys have anything already in place, trying to like get get the word out around some of the colleges around here. So I just think it'd be a good idea.
Number 9.
Number 10, come on down, number 10.
All I have to say is I hope everybody has a place to sleep. I don't like to have friends or people that we know do not have a place to sleep. We love you and peace.
If anybody does not have anywhere to go this evening, please get with us afterwards and we will find some way.
Hi everybody, I'm Tess. I agree that we need to occupy tonight. I'm not opposed for it being private property. In fact, one of the questions I have would be what are the legal ramifications of moving to private property as opposed to a park? If we decide on that, I actually have a private property in mind that we could discuss, put on the table. I also want to say that I talked to a good friend in Denver today, and she was saying that Occupy Denver had a similar situation. It actually came up over their parade, and they had been working peaceably with the city of Denver all along. Their decision was made to move to another park with the understanding that they would move back to the first park as soon as the parade happened, what had to happen there happened. And I think my understanding they're in preparations to move, and they actually think it's going to be a better location. So wherever we move, I'd like to put that out as a possibility as well, that it will be better. That's it.
Number 11, I believe we're on.
I also stand in solidarity with number 5, private park, pop around.
Was there a 12? Did we have 12 in this?
Maria.
Yep. Maria is good on that. Let's do a quick recap.
I got 13.
I suggest that we find a family that's home that's in foreclosure and occupy it to prevent it from being foreclosed and take it by the bank.
Yeah!
And if it's a cop, all the better.
Okay.
Or a cop's relative.
Legal ramifications of those other interesting options that are being thrown out have not been investigated, but I got a new job, don't I?
Alright, come on down!
Occupying on private property is a misdemeanor in the state of Virginia. It's trespass. If the person who owns the property doesn't care that you're being there, then it's not trespass, and you can have it just fine. If the person who does own the property cares about you being there and asks you to leave and you don't leave, technically it's trespass, but they can kind of get squirrely about it because maybe they say you resisted and assault, or, you know, kind of start trumping stuff up. So theoretically it's just a small misdemeanor and it's no big deal, but it can escalate pretty quickly if you're not careful, so our actions would definitely want to be on the up and up. Any business is going to be private property. They're definitely going to react hostilely to it. What makes things interesting to me is we have the right to assemble. If we're not allowed to do it on private property, then we have to be allowed to do it on public property. Public property is the people's property. What do we have to get the king's permission to be able to generally assemble? That's not America. So, I mean, we have the right to assemble. We should be able to do it anywhere on public property. That's the whole point.
What about all these HUD properties sitting around Norfolk that are vacant lots?
Technically the bank's property.
Oh, great, even better.
Hi, I'm Laura again. My idea about the private property was actually to get permission from a sympathetic property owner, not to just like go randomly occupy somebody's property.
So, let's do a quick vibes check here. We're going to avoid private property unless we have the blessing of the owner or unless it's bank's property.
Is that what everybody is kind of spitting here? If we get a thumbs up for private, great, but if we don't get a thumbs up, and it's not like bank property or some other clearly enemy dickhead party, then we're going to avoid private. So we've heard suggestions for almost every park in the city right now. Anybody have a good reason why one's better than another? After Dave says this?
Point of information, we are checking out some private land at the corner of, well, I'm not going to say it right now, but it's not too far away. Another option we looked into was the Unitarian Universalist Church. Unfortunately, but goodly, they operate on a similar model as we do, participatory democracy, that runs too slowly to get us in there as emergency refugees. We will have them put it through their process so that if we, a few weeks from now we need a place, that may be an option. If anyone knows of any other churches that may be friendly to us, that may have some grounds around the church where we can pitch tents, please investigate it, please let us know. Anyone know of any friendly church that may give us sanctuary? That could be a great option.
You, then you.
Hello everybody, my name's Richard. The reason I recommend Lafayette Park is because they got a few shelters there, the lean-tos with the open sides, and I believe there is bathroom facilities there.
There is the big block after dark. But it's
I can climb! Who's next? There's plenty of trees.
I know that in Virginia Beach they have not allowed anyone to get permits, but I think some groups for example, I went to Friends School and going to Friends meeting for a long time. When I went there, from kindergarten to senior year, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of people on the Friends meeting, committee would be interested in, maybe at least talking about maybe supporting. It might not be able to lend a site per se, but they probably would know of other sympathetic groups who might be able to.
My hand's getting numb.
Okay, real quick, let me just try to refocus this conversation a little bit. Everybody has free will here, everybody can do what they want. What we're actually talking about is what might we occupy right now. So can I see a show of hands for everybody that, if possible, they will occupy somewhere tonight? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Looks like we're in the double digits. That works for me.
I will occupy also.
Okay, so it looks like at least a dozen, maybe more. Okay, so let's get back into this conversation. Yeah, we'll get right there. Come on over.
Yeah. 1 and then 2.
So just a quick clarification. Where might we go tonight? And there's still time for further discussion about where we might go after that.
Hi again, everyone. As to Rex asked the question.
And again, I do not expect you would be released on personal recognizance. I do not expect you may go before the magistrate, have bail set, or you may have to wait till the morning to see a judge.
That you don't want to do.
Courts are closed tomorrow, so I guess the magistrates would have to deal with it unless they have time off. I'm not sure on that issue. Just a point of information.
Any more info on where people may want to go tonight? Particularly like to hear from people that want to go somewhere tonight. Okay, she is feeling Town Point Park. And it is very close by, and on a lot of levels it's a little bit better.
In front of City Hall.
I fucking love that.
Oh, there is a grassy field.
There's a big grassy field right in front of City Hall.
And I feel like there's some overhead coverage over there too if you...
Would they let us?
And it's not a park that's closed.
No, it's not.
One thing to keep in mind about Town Point Park, and this is very important to remember, they do and will have the facility to barricade the park, because they do have portable barricades in there. It is fenced in. So if you consider Town Point Park, you need to, I guess as Jeffrey and our fine guests have experienced, you need to become familiar with being kettled in, because that's what you're setting up. So just keep in mind, not saying don't do it, but if you do it, they may have you trapped.
You know what that's like.
Okay, and I got one more quick piece of info on that. As much as I love those and those ideas and all the other ones tonight, we could also just carry our happy asses right back there. Pretty easy to get out if the cops come and you don't want to be arrested for a second time today, like me, I'm trying to avoid 2 in 1 day thing. You can kind of haul ass to the perimeter, and you can hover around the perimeter until squads leave and continue to reoccupy. So how are we going to make the decision on this? We don't have an actual one proposal. We have like a dozen possible good ideas.
Let me get a temperature check on this. I feel like if we are going to take a vote on where we're going to camp, okay, let me start this by saying that I can't camp tonight. I have an exam tomorrow. It's pretty important. I just can't camp tonight. I will tomorrow. But so my proposal, that being said, is that the only people who should, I think, vote on where they're going to go tonight are the people who are going to be staying tonight. Is anybody? I see a lot of consensus. Is there anybody who does not like that? Can I get a big one of these if you do not like that idea? Okay. All right. Good. Okay. So that being said, can I get a hand of everybody who is planning on continuing the occupation this evening? Looks like I got 11. Okay. The ideas I've heard thus far are Camp Mildred, commercial place for those of you who aren't in the loop. I've heard Town Point Park. I've heard City Hall. Do I have any others? Shout them out.
Squatting houses.
Squat in houses?
Squatting.
Yeah, that's not really like for tonight.
Yeah, I don't know if we could be able to find one of those like right now tonight. So.
I don't have the names and numbers.
All right. Any other suggestions directly? Okay, so then that makes it simple. So Town Point, here, or City Hall are the 3 places. I'm going to go ahead and say that for security culture purposes, that those 11 people should get with facilitation and whoever right after this, and we'll discuss that privately. I think that's probably for the best. You don't know who's here. Anybody disagree with that statement? Excellent.
Wavy TV, dude.
That's Fox News.
Does anybody have any other, okay, so we're beyond that section of what the heck are we going to do for the General Assembly. I guess at this point, we can just sort of open it up. Does anybody have any other general information, points of information, anything they would like to bring to the table at this point? Have Dave here first.
I just talked to one of our lawyers. Magistrates work every damn day.
Yes, they do.
Okay, well, in the interest of progressivism, I'm going to skip you for text.
Oh, yeah. Keep it progressive.
Well, I just want to make this short and sweet. I don't really want to make a big long speech, but I feel that we're at a critical point, and I think that there needs to be a team of visioning and strategy. Obviously, we're dealing with first things first. We're dealing with that for tonight, but I think immediately, like starting tomorrow, because this is obviously something that we're in for the long haul.
Tomorrow at noon.
Tomorrow at noon. On another note, and I'll also make this as brief as possible, everyone, my teacher here is a Native American. She's been counseling me this morning, since prior to being arrested, and she pointed out to me that tomorrow is 11/11/11. There are significant
convergences happening. You know, it's like when the people thought the world was flat, it was round, it didn't matter, it really was round. Well, it's that kind of thing. You may or may not understand it, you may or may not believe it, but there actually are very significant things happening right now, and tomorrow actually is the perfect day. I will be meditating with that group, with my teacher and others at 11 a.m. and I will join after that. Anybody that feels able to can sit and hold the space of peace at that time, and I will join you as soon as I'm complete with that meditation there. Peace, everyone. Thank you.
Peace.
Alright, so right now we're opening up the stack for Soapbox. Let me get some fingers of people who want to get on stack for Soapbox. Just one should be easy enough. Come on down.
This is actually a question. Are we still doing the Veterans Day March tomorrow? I thought there was a Veterans Day March for some reason and wanted to know the details on that.
I'm off tomorrow. I will march for veterans. You guys all should too. We still do in our permit. We still do have our permit for marches, so it's not like we're going to get busted up for doing that. It's not like we're going to run into problems. Anita has a direct response, and then.
So the street team and the direct action team, and I keep calling it street action, but they've combined into one. And as a working group, we decided that we wouldn't do the traditional marches because we want to encourage everybody to do as many mini marches throughout the day, everywhere, every day. So we're not going to do those. I would like to see a bunch of people get together tomorrow to do a Veterans Day March, but on Monday, Friday, and Saturday at 5 p.m. from now on, even now, we're going to have a outreach activity where we can just pick a neighborhood and go there instead of having the marches at 5 o'clock. And then on Saturday at 1, there will be a direct action demo that most of you will find out about at 1 o'clock on Saturdays. Sorry, it's not because I don't love you.
Marching tomorrow, I think the best bet is to meet here on the monument at around noon time, and then we'll go and proceed from there. Does anybody have any other final comments or concerns before we...
Just talk to the lawyer again. If you were arrested today, get arrested again. It is likely, you won't be released on personal recognizance. The magistrate may give you bail, may not. Someone was told today that if she got arrested again, she would be held till her court date in December. That is very unlikely. If the magistrate won't set bond or bail, we will go before a judge on a bail hearing.
If, for any case you do require bail, we have raised some money as Occupy Norfolk, and that will be taken care of with that funding. Does anybody disagree with us using Occupy Norfolk fundraising money to bail our occupiers out of jail?
No problem.
Alrighty then. Alright, anything? This is the final call. Okay, I will get in touch with Ryan Russ, who is a colleague of mine, student, I know to you. And I will find out more about that and get back to you. Alright, if anybody does not have anything else, this will conclude our General Assembly. Thanks for coming out to day 34 of Occupy Norfolk. I think it might be time for a solidarity exercise. Anita. Solidarity, Occupy dance / chant.
He's like, I don't know.
If you are going to camp, come and meet with whoever's up here. If you're camping, we'll go from here.
I don't want to do a chant. Oh my gosh,
Okay, we've clearly got some people in the city scared today. So for today's solidarity exercise, we'll do a chicken dance and chicken chant. Ready?
All right, everybody. Thank you. You're ready for the long haul. Come on down.